Immersion within the particular locations provides great insight into the people and spaces of any environment. Through this immersion, far more depth of understanding into places can be gleaned. By engaging with the residents and users of Jeppestown and sharing in their everyday activities there, I was able to begin to understand the complex networks of human interactions and relationships. The use of the great technologies such as Instagram and the Internet to record and display these findings allows it to be done efficiently as well as to be accessible. Once this immersion has happened, understandings can begin to be drawn into the spatial and built environment elements that promote, inhibit, or are required for these interactions to occur. Lessons learned from the neighborhood immersion translates into understanding sites and contexts across the city. Sites such as Fordsburg can be broken down through these to pull out the elements that are successful in terms of the human interactions and activities that happen in those places. Understanding the levels within the context in terms of an open building framing becomes essential to understand where which people would interact and where they are able to experience, use, and influence these elements within their environment from an urban scale all the way down to an infill scale. These lessons can also be applied to a far larger context to gain a wider understanding of the complexities and networks of human-to-human and human-to-architecture interactions. Responses to the contexts that we work in becomes a mixture of the lessons learned through immersion in terms of turning human-to-human interaction and networks into physical or spatial elements that can be implemented into a particular site. Development of a toolkit became a way to package these lessons for use later on. The infrastructure of spaces of human interaction surrounding trading, movement, and socialization can be broken down into spatial elements derived from the immersion with people, as well as an understanding of the site conditions. These can then be selected from, added to, and tweaked to fit into various sites that have similar conditions to promote these activities. The same approach is taken within the contexts of Fordsburg and Denver, where immersion and a thorough understanding of the site's successful and unsuccessful elements can be packaged for use later in the design process. The responses to the immersion and context can then be applied to a particular intervention on a very particular site. The site in Jeppestown allowed the toolkit to be applied to it, resulting in upgraded pavement surfaces and a multi-purpose seating and trading surface bench system. For the multi-use museum building alongside the Oriental Plaza in Fordsburg, the elements, both positive and negative of the context, are applied to the particular site, resulting in a building that promotes the positives of interaction that already occurred within Fordsburg. With active external edges and externalized museum wall art on the street edges, it enhances the user experience and the user's interaction with the intervention without ever entering the building or museum itself. It becomes a positive catalyst for human interaction with others through trade, seating, shade, and interaction with the architecture, such as the wall art, historical panels. The Denver site has begun to look at the levels of permanent and temporary, and levels of private and public space. A thorough understanding of this and how it works within the site allows myself to design for people and their daily interactions and activities by knowing where people may meet and where they wouldn't, or how and when particular spaces or elements may be used.